Okay. Yeah, and I'm going to turn on the AI companion again because it did give me a summary last time and it was helpful.
Yeah, thanks, AI.
Amazing. Yeah, thanks, AI. You know, it is funny. Okay, so here we are talking on Tuesday. Um, and it is funny. So mentioning AI, I've had a lot of people lately tell me that they're going to ChatGPT for their coaching. Have you have you had this?
I haven't had people say it to me, but I have seen like the ICF posted about like how to incorporate ChatGPT into your coaching, and then the I've seen like people post other coaches post about like, hey, here's why AI might not be the
Mm-hmm.
best coach for you.
Mm-hmm. It's it's really fascinating because it in on one hand, like I get it, right? Like I'm like, oh, okay, well, it spits something out, and on one hand, I do like that there is a usage for it to be like, hey, get out of your own way and just
Mm,
do this thing, right? Which we do, and I feel like I do at least talk to my clients about it a lot of like, just do it, right? I think I said it to you like
me too.
last
Last week.
last week.
Yes.
Just stop. Um, so to have something that you're specifically talking to ChatGPT about that is um, like something that you already know about yourself, right? And that you're asking it for that in the moment um, pattern shift,
Hmm, hmm.
right? Like so that you're kind of like bypassing that, or it's like support, right? I need you to tell me to stop it and just keep going, whatever. So I feel like that is useful. But on the other hand, so many of the people that I talk to um, are, I feel like looking for and yearning for connection and community. And I got really present the other day um, to the idea that like GPT is just like more of the same in our survival mechanism, right? It keeps us separate and alone with the robot. And
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And so it's like it's a great like snap out of it, buddy, sort of tool. But at the same time, I feel like a lot of people that are coming to me, at least and in my conversations, it feels like it's that I want to actually share with a person and be connected with a person and um yeah it's that's kind of what I worry about with it is like do we end up siloing if we go too far with that and actually silo ourselves out of what we want so that we can stay in the comfort zone of we don't actually have to be vulnerable with a person.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Yeah.
hadn't thought about it through that lens at all,
Mm,
which I mean makes a lot of sense with where
mm,
I in my experience and the things that I've read and the research I've done and the people I've talked to, it's like part of how we got to this place of craving community and connection is that we spend so much time on screens and in our phones and in our, in simulating connection,
hmm
but not actually connecting. And
hmm
here's just another opportunity to simulate connection without it actually
hmm
being connection. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and I wonder too, as you just reflected that back, I like what is so scary about it, about connection for us, because there is something that it seems like, you even go back to phones and calling people, right? And how, God, we don't want to call anybody
I
anymore.
hate calling people.
Text me, don't call me, right? And even now I'm like I feel my best friends, I'm like I will text them first and be like, is now a good time to talk? Like I don't want to like intrude. Um and we just don't do it anymore the way that we used to, the way that we used to um somebody was telling me about writing like emails and like letter writing, right? Like
Yeah.
letter writing to email writing to now we're just texting, or we used to have conversations on the phone and now we're not doing that anymore. And now we're going to AI instead of talking to real people. And even having the friendships, right? I think, you know, like I was talking to you about this cocktail party that my friend and I are having that's really like building relationships with other women that own business and really it's about connecting with people, or that's our intention at least. And it just feels so, everybody that I talk to, and including myself, there is something that feels so daunting about it or hard to do, right? It's hard to build. We have this lie. That's sort of a truth, I guess. It's hard to build adult friendships, right? It's hard
Mhm.
to become friend. I'm going, what is so hard about it? That was long ramble to get back to my question. What is so hard about it?
Well, I think like that people would say, um, okay, I'm gonna make 2 points here if that's okay with you.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Mm.
one thing that I was thinking that is less about the connection element of coaching, but when you were talking about ChatGPT and kind of like the thing that it's spitting out, like I think that's a way that ChatGPT does work as a coach is from everything I've read, like the algorithm has been created in such a way that it is constantly validating the person that it's talking to. So there is that element of like generating possibility, believing in who you are, like kind of pumping people up. But the thing that I heard you say that really stuck with me is like it's good for the things that we already know about ourselves.
Hmm.
But ChatGPT is not, well, as far as I know, I don't know. Currently, AI is getting crazy, but it is likely not going to support a person to uncover the things that they don't know about themselves that are truly standing in the way of like deeper, more meaningful growth that would have them not having to come back to Chat GPT to like be like whip me in shape so that I show up for this thing that I want and like just do the thing. Um, so okay, you said what is standing in the way of connection, and oh, what was my first thought that was relevant to? Should have taken notes. Should have this. We had the talk about podcasts last week, and I went off recording. You and I had talked about voice memos, and I realized that it's the same thing that you and I talked about with podcasts with me with voice memos. Like I so much information is covered and there are so many things that I want to respond to that unless I am sitting down like with a notebook saying like, okay, in my response, it's A, B, C, D, E, I get to the end and
Hmm.
I'm like, what was I gonna say? What was it in response to this person? And I feel like I just had that experience here as well. Um, but uh all I can think of now is how much I was thinking while you were talking about like the friends dynamic or like the
Hmm.
like the sitcom dynamic where that's also something we don't do anymore. Like we don't just like pop over to people's houses. Like doorbell rings, like, hey, I was in the neighborhood. Like that to me, I'm like, oh, how disruptive.
Yeah.
Um, and that's kind of like the way that we've built out our lives is that everything needs to be like scheduled.
Scheduled.
Um, oh, you had said like what is the like what's the difficulty with making adult
Friendships.
friendships.
Yeah.
And like, okay, that's how the two connected. Is that like the
I knew
surface
you would
level?
get back there.
Thank you. I really appreciate you sitting with me in that as I
Hmm.
talked my way through. Like the surface level answer, the easy answer, the like Chat GPT knows what you know about yourself answer is like, oh, well, like when we're kids, we are sitting in school all day with people. We have, sports teams or we're in the choir. We're so like we have these dedicated periods of time where we're like forced to spend time with people and like meet people that we might want to be friends with. And then we can take that outside and especially for entrepreneurs,
Hmm.
but even for people who are like in offices, often there's that element of like, well, hopefully I'll like find that work wife or that work, bestie who I want to continue this relationship with, but like we don't have these built in arenas that kind of
Mm-hmm.
force us to get to know people and find people that we want to spend more time with, which to
Mm-hmm.
me is like, it is a valid answer, but it's also the excuse answer. Oh, well, like my
Mm-hmm.
circumstances don't provide me an opportunity to get to know new people,
Mm-hmm.
rather
Mm-hmm.
than really looking at like, okay, but so like what's stopping you from going to a book club, or like there are a million different ways that we can be out in the world meeting new people if we genuinely want to be creating these connections.
Mm-hmm.
There are choices that we could make. So like what's the actual reason?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I, as you said that, I thought about the structure of school, right? And that like we become adults and the world's our oyster and we don't have to do all of that stuff that was structured for us for so long, right? I don't have to go to PE, right? Like, oh my God, I remember just being like, I never have to run again if I don't want to, right? Like, screw that mile. I'm never going to do it ever again. And it does kind of turn into in some cases I think a rebellion, right? Like however you related to certain things, certain classes, right? um I mean, I know that you and I have talked about reading and how it's actually taken me a while to come back to being able to read for pleasure, because I feel like I just continue to associate it with having to.
Mm,
It's like this is the book that you have to read right now. And I could get through it and I could do it, but it took a lot of joy out of it for a long time. And it had to be something incredibly specific that I would enjoy reading. But if it reeked of anything that I maybe was gonna have to read for high school or college or whatever, it's like I'm not touching it with a 10-foot pole. And so those experiences, I feel like, shape us, and then what we don't want to do. Um, I there, as you were talking about having that, built-in structure of like you're in school and you are just with people all day long, and now there were offices and people were in offices, and then gosh, now a lot of people are not in offices. And look, I mean, don't get me wrong. I work from home. I love having the flexibility. I completely understand the people that are like, give me work from home. And I think to your point, it's also like, that's fine. But where are you building the community? Where is the book club? Where is the thing, that you're looking for that has that built in? And part of it is that we're not practicing in those places anymore. We're not, and of course, some people, it is uncomfortable, right? It is uncomfortable sometimes to be like, hi, I'm Raven. I'm new. Let's talk about something until we figure it out, right? And we don't have to do that necessarily, like in most workplaces, a lot of workplaces anymore, we don't have to do it on the regular. And so then it makes it harder to go do it anywhere else, right? It makes it harder to be like, all right, I'm gonna put in my gym clothes now and it's cold out there and I'm gonna go anyway, even though I hate to run.
yeah.
So,
Like go take, because and there are, it's like multiple steps to it too. It's with
mhm.
gym example, it's like I could and I can and I do, like I have 1,000 workouts in my computer. I have like dumbbells to the left and the right of me, so I
Huh.
don't have to go to the gym. So it is a conscious decision that like I, exercising is something I enjoy. Okay, well, if I want to build a community, let me find people who enjoy the same things I do. That
Hmm.
requires me to show, like, put on clothes, show up to a gym, and then like take the group class, and then take the arguably even more vulnerable step of putting myself out there,
Hmm.
say hello, to get to know people,
Hmm.
to parse out who in this group might be my people, might not be my people. Oh my gosh, none of these people seem like they're my people. I'm going to have to try somewhere new and like give this another swing, you know.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll hit it out of the park and I'll meet my new bestie
Yeah.
right off the bat. And maybe I have to try 3 different exercise classes before somebody that I
Yeah.
really connect with comes around.
Yeah. Well, and I think that that's true too, right? Giving yourself the practice of it, of, maybe it's three different exercise classes, but maybe it's just going to the same one three times and
Mm.
taking another swing, because I think that that's, as you were just saying that, I was like, yeah, I mean, okay, so you met how many people one time at one exercise class? And of course, we know that everybody's got different circumstances and how they show up, and like you have no idea, right? What kind of bad day or what kind of interaction or whatever is happening in other people's lives. And so there is this opportunity to be like, yeah, okay, well, what if I did this a couple of times? What if it's not that I have to meet my new bestie in one amazing meet cute and right in that
Zing.
one
There
fitness
was a
class?
zing.
There was a zing and I knew it and she knew it, and now right, it's like there is that place of a dedication uh, to building the relationships. And, just like we build relationships with our romantic partners, right? It's like, yeah, like you said yes to going on a date with somebody, not knowing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you take it a step at a time, and suddenly you're in this like, oh my gosh, like what a dreamy romance. But it actually took some work to get to this place. And I think, with our friendships, it in any relationship that we're building, it is something that's built brick by brick.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
And to go back to
mhm.
the childhood aspect of it, which is when all of our conditioning happened, we have been conditioned to think, well, this happens easily because we were still building brick by
Yeah.
brick, but we were in a pressure cooker where we kind of like had to.
Yeah.
Now we have to say like, oh, I put that one brick and now it's up to me to generate the time to build the next brick for the
Yeah.
most part. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Well, and also we've got experiences from the past that shape our future friendships too, right? I think about my daughter in kindergarten right now, and like she goes through these things with her friends, and like she's ranking her best friends daily of like who's number one.
daily. Wow.
Dude, I mean, like they're all loving it. And one of her number one best friend told my daughter the other day that she was her third best friend. And my daughter's like telling me this in the car, and I'm like, wait, but is that okay with you? Like, how do you feel about that? And she's like, yeah, whatever. Right? Like, not at all phased by it at all. Like she doesn't care that she's this girl's third best friend and that girl is her first best friend. Like it doesn't mean anything to her, and I realized then it was like the concept of what makes a best friend is very different right now for me based on my 40 years of life
Mm.
experience than it is to her, who friendship is new, right? And her idea of friendship, I mean, it has been totally expanded even in the past like 9 months being in school. Before this, we would take her to the beach, and she would look at us when we get to the beach and she would go, "Can I go make friends?" And we'd say, "Sure." And she'd run up to the nearest child and look at them in the eye and go, "Can we be friends? Can I be friends with you?"
My gosh.
And I mean, like that was her thing. And then they would play together for the day. And then, of course, they'd never see each other again, but whatever. And now she has this, okay, so now I'm friends with the people in my class, and we've been friends for however long, and they've had their ups and their downs, so they've gotten to know each other more. But she doesn't have the like what middle school is like with your friends, and how friends come and go, and how you get closer to some people over time, and then how you go away to college and you don't see them, and but you love them, and or that you don't anymore, right? That I have. And so all of that, I feel like as an adult, I'm meeting friends, I'm meeting new people, and I want to jump to we're best friends forever and have known each other for 20 years.
Mm,
When really it's like, if I could have the mindset that my daughter has as she's making friends as a 5-year-old, it's like, that's actually more of where I am with this person right now. And like, can we just be curious and play yoga together right at this
yeah.
point?
Yeah.
Without the pressure of having it have to be something else, you know? And it's amazing how vulnerable my 5-year-old is with her friends and thinks nothing of it.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a lot that I learned from her when I really reflect on it.
I mean, kids are just there's so little survival mechanism learned
Uh-huh.
at that age that it's just like they are just like big hearts
Yeah.
out in the world. And I regularly just think like, oh, if I could just like be my niece in the world,
Yeah.
I think that's the move.
Yeah. Yeah. It is wild. And I mean, it's like in this for this conversation and with watching her do this, like she has no holds barred to making friends. Like anybody, everybody, like if she's in a playground and she needs to find a kid to play with, she will scope him out, lock in, and be like, that one. It's like, oh, I mean, I feel like we go into, I mean, I do, I'll speak for me, but I feel like this is an experience that adults have is like you do go into a room and there's somebody that, your energy is connected to. And it's like, oh, I kind of want to meet that person, but then you don't do it. And it's like, well, I'm gonna maybe I'll play it cool and they'll want to meet me and maybe eventually like we'll run into each other and our eyes will meet and blah, blah, blah. It's like, good Lord.
Yeah.
Good Lord. She has a I don't know if I told you this. Did I tell you that she has a boyfriend?
No, what?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna keep my opinions out of this space.
Okay. She's a boyfriend.
Okay.
She came home and she told us this. And we said, okay. And I said, how do you know he's your boyfriend? She said, I asked him and he said yes. I was like, good for you, girl. Good
Wow.
for you.
Wow.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep, yep.
6,
She's 5.5.
5.5. Okay. She's not even, yeah, she's like really close to my niece's age.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow. The
I
cojones.
asked him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she has no idea that that's like,
Right. Because that's the thing. It's like, it's not cojones. It's cojones now because we know
oh,
about rejection and we've got all these stories that we make. Like literally her whole thing of like first best friend, third best friend is like, that is my like a number one survival mechanisms catnip for like keeping me disconnected from people is like my story is that I am accepted, but I am not chosen.
mm,
Like I'm not I everyone who is my number one, I am not their number one. And like
mm,
some of that is literally like I've had conversations with girlfriends where I'm like, I have this story that like you're my number one, and they'll be like, are you kidding me? I totally think of you as my number one. So some of
hmm
it is like literally just made up, but then some of it is also like I feel like a lot of what we've been talking about in this conversation is like hope versus generate. Like,
mm,
okay, well, if you want to be their number one, then like how are you generating the relationship
mm,
in that way
mm,
versus like just like, oh, I wish they'd pick me, I hope they pick me as the best. I think I'm pretty great, but I guess they don't think I'm as great as I think I am. Maybe I'm not even as great as I think I am, and there's all of those like judgments and assumptions and thoughts that weigh on us once we're old enough to have had lots of experiences and that our brains lie to us that like kids just don't have.
yeah, absolutely. And as you're talking about generation, I was like, yeah. And what if we just were ourselves for anybody, right? Like I have totally had that experience. One of my very best friends in the world, I am still amazed that she considers me her best friend. And I'm still like, and I think of so highly of her. And, um, and I think part of the like generating our friendship is that I show up fully as me with her, and she shows up fully as her with me. And I have noticed lately, like I want to do more of that regardless of who people are. I have a little bit of what you're talking about too, and maybe more than a little bit of like, oh well, I like people more than they like me, which is like we have these stories in our heads, right? And honestly, like who cares if that's true? Like I'm gonna show up the
Yeah.
way that I want to show up the way that I want to show up. I want to be kind. I want to be fully myself. And if that jives with people and we can create friendship from that and they show up, like I don't want to have to edit my being
Mm,
to be something for somebody else. And I sort of feel like that's also, part of the lesson from the kindergartners here is like they have no idea how to edit. All they are is who they are.
right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I mean, that also takes the like the competition element out of it because it isn't like, am I their top friend? It's, is this friendship fulfilling to me in the way that I want it to be fulfilling?
Yeah.
Like, who cares how they're friends with other people over there or how often they
Yeah.
talk to people over there? Like, is this relationship, am I getting the results from this relationship that I want?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
intimacy, like being able to show up. Yeah.
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 I think the experience that I have, I think I've mentioned this to you before. But so with the concept of essence, like I think I have a just a kind of a natural gift to like show up in places in my essence. I think that's why I was such a good server and bartender for so long, because I would just show up
Mm-hmm.
and be like, here's me. And these people who
Mm-hmm.
were like, sitting at a table in my section for 90 minutes, 2 hours were like, you're incredible. And, would give me a lot of money. And sometimes they'd come back and we'd hang out. And I have talked to coaches and therapists about this, is that that is easy for me, making that like essence based, fully realized person showing up connection at the start. And then the second there is any sort of like generation of longevity or intimacy required, I'm like, ooh, that is not
Mm-hmm.
where my natural gifts and skills lay. Like, that is something I have to work
Mm-hmm.
create in my life. So I have absolutely I've had like kind of both experiences of what you're talking about. It's like I have so much evidence that showing up fully as me, like, draws people to me, helps me to identify other people that I want to be in relationship with. And then is when all of the thoughts and the judgments and the worries and everything kind of like pile on and just like create a wall.
Yeah. 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 Um, like we do these and we talk and I get so much out of them. And now that we're recording these and putting these out there in the world, I'm wondering if like for anybody that is listening to this and wants to take action on,
Oh,
yeah,
oh,
wants to take action on stuff that we're talking about, what are some actions that you see that they could take?
um, I am going to go. I'm going to go inspired by your daughter. Like the just ask,
Mm,
because I think, like, going back to like I mentioned, like there's a part of me. I have a really, I know you know this, for anybody listening, I have a very close knit neighborhood. Like, we
hmm
lucked out with our neighbors. That like a 21-person text thread. They're all incredible, and I do kind of like have this draw, this kind of desire to have like a coffee friend, where it's like
mm,
somebody who just like shows up at my door at 8:30 a.m. or I show up at their door and like pop into their kitchen at like that kind of like sitcom-y relationship where it's just like I just like
Hmm.
pop by and we spend 20 minutes and have a cup of coffee together and then go home. And I stop myself from asking all the time,
Hmm.
like, hey, I like have this vision of this kind of friendship. Like, is that something
Hmm.
that you'd be interested in? Like, will you
Hmm.
be my boyfriend? Will you be my coffee buddy?
Yeah. I love that. I love that. And I think that that's a great practice of just ask, just, just be,
Yeah.
just be you, ask, and maybe they can say yes and maybe they can say no, and maybe they can say, how about this instead? Or like 8:30 is way too early for me, but if you show up at my door at 9, I'm happy with
Yeah.
about that, right? And I would say to that practice, even if it feels scary, do it anyway,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like that is courage. I also, as you know, that people may not know, I also have a great neighborhood, and we are also really close here. And I texted my neighbor something that was asking for a favor, which took me a little bit to just text her in the first place. And even though we're very good friends, um, but again, I don't know where I rank on her friendship ladder. And so it's like, it took me a while, but I did it. And she didn't get back to me, and which happens sometimes. And so I made up a bunch of stories, and I was like, I just told my husband, I said, I'm gonna just text somebody else. He said, sometimes she just doesn't see it. Why don't you text her again? And I was like, I don't, I'm nervous. And it was all on me and the story that I was making up. And so I just sent her a text and I was like, hey, just following up in case you didn't see this. And like, I put a couple of other things, another question in there. And she wrote me back like 2 minutes later and was like, oh, I didn't see this. Here's no problem. I can do that. And I was like, now, look, I will say that, of course, I'm telling you this, still having that flicker of like, but does she mean it? Is she mad at me? Oh my God, I got to do her a favor now. Can I think of all the ways that I could earn her love? Essentially.
Because relationships are transactional when we're
They
adults, right?
they are, right? They want to be so bad. So in addition to the just ask practice, I think that it is also that the reminder that it can feel weird to change a behavior like this, and
Mm-hmm.
it might feel weird for a little bit, um, but the benefit outweighs the cost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've actually overcome my following up ick
Hmm.
because I have had to practice it so much to the point that now I don't even make like craft the perfect following up text. I just go boop. That's if somebody hasn't replied to me, I just go boop. And almost every single time I'm like, does this person think that's super obnoxious? And I'm like, well, I don't care. Like that's the way that's genuine to me to be like, reminder, look up.
Hey, hey. Nice. I love that. I might use that.
Please do.
I
Steal
love it.
I also
Cool.
want to put in for other people who are like me that I just did a thing that I have a tendency to do, which is like I live a lot in like this all or nothing space, and so it's like I'm like I'm gonna text Claire and see if she wants to be my 8:30 coffee buddy. Well, it doesn't actually have to be like every day. Like
Yeah.
like I know that in Friends they pop over into each other's apartments every day, and like that's what my brain has been taught. But like also maybe we start with like, hey, first Monday of the month or
Yeah.
like
Yeah. Yeah.
so that
Sometimes.
like so friendship doesn't have to be like this daunting thing that you have to like
Yeah.
do all the time.
Yeah. And maybe it doesn't even have to be scheduled.
I don't know about that, Raven.
Okay.
That
Wait.
might be a bridge too far.
Put it on the calendar. Put it on the calendar. All right. I think we've been talking for
We have
actually
been chatting.
longer than
Yeah.
we
It's been,
usually do.
yeah,
So we should probably wrap it up. If you are still listening to us talk, let us know. I have no idea if anybody is listening to these, really.
agreed. I know
Um,
that my mom listened to the first one.
yeah, I know that. But otherwise, let us know that you're
Yeah.
listening. And thank you for supporting us.
Yeah. We really appreciate it.
Yeah. Have a good Tuesday.